Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I almost forgot to make this video because apparently the Polish national final for Eurovision 2023 happens today, and I'm just gonna try and rush through this to kind of get this video up in time, which I'm most likely not gonna be able to do, but I'll give it my best shot regardless. The Polish national final, which has a name that I can't pronounce, so I'm gonna avoid trying to do that, has 10 songs. I've listened to all of them and reviewed them on my channel. If you want to hear my more thorough thoughts on any of the songs than what I will just say shortly in this video. But I think we should just get through it, and I will tell you what my favorite song from the selection is, and what other small little standouts I think they have in the running here. And we'll see what ends up winning today. Of course, we haven't seen anything performed live. At least I haven't. I mean, a lot can just come down to that. So you'll have to take this list with a bit of like a pinch of salt, because it's not going to be based on live performances. It's just going to be studio cuts that I'm judging here, and what I think has the most like potential, I guess, for being the choice for Eurovision, basically. We're going to start from the bottom and move our way up. And if we start at the bottom, maybe we should place the song Booty in the Not For Me category, because if you see my review for this one, I despise it. I think it's absolutely awful, monotonous beyond words, repetitive, lackluster instrumental. The only thing that it has going for it is that it's not forgettable, because it's absolutely a hook that's like trying to be catchy in its repetitiveness. So I think that's something for it. It's a song that I remember more than a lot of the other ones in the running here, but it's at the same time just a song that's simply not for me. If it's your thing, if it's up your alley, all the more power to you, but it's just not up in my alley. So yeah, not for me. It's gonna get some company down here though, because there are a few songs which I don't really think too much of in this selection, and one of those is called what is it even called? I don't know. The guy's name is Kuba, and this one had like a nice little concept to it, but I think the production quality is absolutely absurd. It sounds pretty awful at times, like production-wise. There are a lot of loud sound effects coming in and out of the song that really takes you out of the listening experience, and I can't really comprehend that cohesion of this song. I think it's really off-putting. Everything that's pleasant about it, like melodically or instrumentally, is just kind of being thrown out the window when I listen to this song and try to take it all in with headphones, because it's very uneven, unbalanced, velocity-wise throughout the song. It doesn't have the production quality to really match other efforts in this selection, and it just simply kind of kills everything that I could have liked about it. So that one is also not for me. Another one which is not for me is, I believe this song is called Never Hide, which, like, kind of similarly to the song by Kuba, it has like parts of it that I can kind of click with. I think the verses are decent. It has an effective build to it. The chorus, however, sounds incredibly out of place, in my opinion. I think it just comes with an instant impact that's not really pleasant. It kind of changes up the entire song in a very uneven way, and I think the structure here is very flawed in that sense. Everything that it might have going for it just doesn't click with me, and I tend to just kind of put this one aside when looking at this selection as a whole, because it doesn't interest me, and it also has like these off-putting parts for me. So that one is also just simply not for me. You can hear my more thorough thoughts on these songs in my reviews if you'd like to check them out. I think we're going to move upwards now, though. I have two songs, I think, maybe more, but two songs that I think are all right in this selection. Like, they're better than the three at the bottom here to me, but they're also quite uninteresting. That's probably their main issue, that I don't remember anything about them. One of them is called Champion, which has like an upbeat tone to it. It's upbeat, it's a bit joyous, it tries to be uplifting and empowering in a sense. But it also just kind of comes across with a bit of a feeble approach in my opinion. The song doesn't have a drive. It doesn't really have any depth to it. It's very bare bones and kind of like too simply put together. There's nothing that excites me about this song, and I think that it just kind of goes on. I feel like, oh, it was a fine little listen for 3 minutes, but I would never go back and listen to it again, because it doesn't interest me. It doesn't have that like special part within the song that actually elevates it and makes it something interesting. So It's all right, at best, I'd say. Another song which I think is all right, but incredibly, like, I wouldn't say forgettable, but to me, I don't really remember too much about it. I have no idea what the title even was, but it's the song right here, and hopefully you can kind of recognize the image. And this one, I remember so little of it, unfortunately, that you should probably just watch my review if you want to hear my more thorough thoughts on it. The only thoughts that I can kind of express right now in this video is that I simply don't forget about it, but I simply forgot about it, and I simply don't really kind of manage to recollect anything about it. It's very unfortunate, but that's not a good sign. The only thing that I can kind of remember is that when I listened to it the first time, I thought it was an all right listen. I thought it was pretty like had a nice flow to it, but melodically and instrumentally, it's not something that has stuck with me. And simply, I'll just put it in the it's all right category, very middle of the road for me, and not too interesting. We got 5 songs left, which I think are by far like the 5 strongest, but I have some qualms with a few of these as well. And the first one I have a few qualms with is the effort by Alicia, which I believe was called New Home, which is a very divided song, I'd say, because the instrumental and the vocal arrangements kind of don't match, in my opinion. The instrumental tries to really rely on intimacy, minimalism, while the vocal tries to rely on power, drama, just kind of this overwhelming intensity. And these two working together, I get the concept of it. I just don't particularly care for the execution of it because I think it sounds a bit too divided. And the contrast between these two different approaches isn't really something that hits me in this case, which is rather unfortunate. I like the fact that it has drama in there. The piano melody within it is pretty nice. Her vocal performance is great. So it's enjoyable as a whole, but I still have some qualms with it. So I kind of just have to drag it down a little bit. I think a vocalist like Alicia here really needs a song that really matches her instead of kind of working against her, which I feel the case is with this one. I also kind of like Solo. I think this is enjoyable, but it's also kind of monotonous and repetitive, I guess. It has a hook, and that's really all it has, unfortunately. But the hook that it has is a killer hook because it's memorable beyond words. It's one of these that also has the impact of the instrumental that really packs up this beat in the background that makes it really easy to just nod along to and hum with and really just enjoy it. And that's what I'm doing. Every time I listen to it, it's an enjoyable 3 minutes, or if it's even 3 minutes. I think this is a pretty short song, if I remember correctly. But as an overall package, there's nothing really that excites me about this one, unfortunately. It's enjoyable for what it is, but it's not really a lot of substance to this one. But it's catchy. I have fun listening to it, but it's not something that I would really prefer to see Poland go for, unless, of course, it's fantastically performed. Then more power to it. But I think there are three songs in this selection that I prefer to it. One of those is titles. Thelivers was the name of the group. I think it was called Never Back Down, but I might be wrong. This one is also really enjoyable. I'm a sucker for rock music. This one doesn't leave like the most massive impression on me compared to other rock songs in national finals that we've heard this season. But it has some drive in it. I like the verse that's in Polish. That's a nice switch up. Vocally, it's varied throughout, so it has like this refreshing take in it. Possibly just don't really think that the melodic impact of the hook is all there. It's enjoyable to listen to. I think it has some nice inputs instrumentally. The vocal variation is nice. It's just a well put together package. But unfortunately, it's not a song that really excites me, I guess. It has the energy, it has intensity, but it's not all the way there. I think it's a bit on the mellow side to really get me entirely going. And melodically, I'm not sure if it's all the way there to really match the ambitions of these type of rock songs. But I think it's a good effort. I think it's a great effort, in fact. And if it's performed well live, I could absolutely be thrilled to see this one being chosen. But at the moment, I have 2 songs that I prefer over it. One is called Be Good and one is called Gladiator. And these, if I'm going to be honest with you, these are the 2 that I have been listening to repeated amount of times after listening through the songs the first time. The others, I haven't really I haven't gone back to them that often to really get through them again. I've listened to most of them like maybe 3 or 4 times. But these 2, well, at least we're in a double digits amount of times. I'm gonna go for Be Good. At this moment, I'm gonna go for Be Good to be the great alternative that's like a perfect runner-up. If the performance is out of this world great, and maybe if Gladiator's performance is not, then I would absolutely prefer Be Good to be sent, because this song has the right approach. It's happiness, it's upbeat, it's charming, inviting, and heartwarming, and everything's just done with the right approach here. It's unfortunate for it to be in the competition with an actual, like, really suspenseful and dramatic and intense experience like Gladiator, which we'll get to in a minute. But if things go right for this one, and if things go wrong for Gladiator, I think this one could absolutely deserve a chance to take the spot for Poland, because it does everything that it wants to do in a perfect way. I think the chord intervals in the verses are really charming, with basically like a major 1, major 2, minor 3, major 2, major 1 chord progression. Like this interval, the ladder that it has, it's so charming, and it has a lovely tone to it. Played on the guitar, strumming with a lot of energy in it, very charming in that sense. It's being layered with vocals as well. It has a nice arrangement altogether. Songwriting wise, I think it's fun. It's a bit on the repetitive side, I guess, arrangement wise, but I don't really think too much about that, because I'm just really into the whole positive vibes that it radiates of. I think it sounds very promising vocally as well. I think he sounds great. The music video has a lot of charm to it, so I hope they can kind of incorporate something that into a performance as well. I have high hopes, but I still am rooting for Gladiator, because I think this is a golden opportunity for Eurovision. It's a song that stands out. It has the progression that's just really intense. It's dynamically really engaging. Really relies on a lot of suspense. It has an eerie sound design to it, really reliant on these muffled bass notes and a lot of intense drumming throughout. Vocally, it's very contrasting with itself. It's a bit varied in terms of register and tone throughout, which makes it really interesting throughout, and you kind of feel like the vocal variation throughout the song is really intense. I read somewhere in my comments, or if it was on a live stream, that he's vocally very, I guess you say, well trained. Heard some rumors about possibly being familiar with opera, and that's just really promising. It makes me feel a lot of hope, and I guess there's an ambition here to really make something that knocks everything else out of the park with Gladiator here. I think it's an intense song. It has the energy, but it also has the atmosphere, like the atmospheric impact that it really needs. A nice ambience to this. It's suspense, it's dramatic, it has melancholy in there, while also having like some what do you call it, aggression and assertiveness. There are a lot of great things just packed into one package here. It's interesting through the entire runtime. It varies itself throughout. It's a progression through the song. The song elevates, it goes backwards, it ascends, it descends. It's just a fascinating listening experience, and I think it's absolutely a golden opportunity to make something that will stand out massive amount in Eurovision. And therefore, I absolutely think that Gladiator should be the one that Poland goes for, if the performance matches the ambitions of the song. And that's my tier list. Tell me what yours look like in the comments if you'd like to. Maybe we have the same favorites, maybe we don't. Please tell me. What are you rooting for Poland today? If this video isn't up before the national final takes place, I apologize. But then, in that case, hope you're satisfied with the winner. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and bye for now.